Wow, that is beautiful. And there's faces of every age, from all over the world, you can tell. It's lovely. Thank you, Leo, Larry, and the entire board for granting me this honor tonight. I'm proud to be the first of what I trust will be a long line of Ellis supporters to receive this award every year. I also want to thank all of the guests here tonight. It's a beautiful room. You guys look great. Lisa, I have to tell you, nice shoes. I didn't see them until you got up here. Really nice shoes. Now that we have that out of the way. And everybody that answered the call when I put the call out on my email and decided to come and learn something about Ellis. And I hope you have tonight. And I have some hard acts to follow. I really want to thank the children and my friends from Boston Ballet, and especially Yoel Cassell, who I call the child whisperer, for their dedication for bringing the beauty and the fun and the experience of the art of dance to children all over the city. So thank you so much for that. Larry Hughes, the board chair, the event chair tonight, shared with us really what's going on at Ellis. Leo gives you this passionate vision of what's to come and what has been with Ellis. And Thomas, what a great story. Do you know how hard it is to get multiple applause in one speech? That was really, really good. I mean, what it means to be an Ellis kid. It's something that's really special about this place, and to see 3 generations, it's quite a testimonial. And Lisa, thank you for doing such a fantastic job for everything moving along here. And I'm going to put a bow on this now. So it's my turn to sort of wrap this fun evening up and put the party in the party. And so we'll go to the next phase of this. But I simply want to tell my Ellis story. Leo told you a little about that. But I really want you to know why I became such a big fan of Ellis. And it was about 15 years ago when I was sort of evaluating where I was in my professional career and trying to figure out what I was doing with my time. And really up until then, my adult life was focused on work and my family. And I didn't really have much time for anything else. And I had been involved in some volunteer work, but it was directly connected to my employer. And I was looking for something that I could call my own. I felt compelled to do something else in the community that was really something that I wanted to do. So I went out and I talked to a really important role model of mine, Marion Hurd, who at the time was the CEO of the United Way. And she gave me some great advice. I told her I wanted to get involved in a not-for-profit. And I really was afraid about my time commitment, but I felt compelled to do something. And Marion told me to follow my heart. She said, don't do anything that you're not passionate about. If it doesn't feel right and you don't think you have the time to do it, don't commit to it. God knows you have good intentions. She'll still love you if you don't have time to do it now. And I think she did say that. But to really make sure that it was something that I wanted to commit my time to. So she sent me off to this nonprofit fair that the United Way sponsored. I think it was in a big hotel room in the Back Bay. And I walked in and I was kind of intimidated. There were a couple hundred organizations there with booths and lots of people running around, and I had just gotten out of work and I was kind of tired. And I felt a bit overwhelmed. But I started walking up and down the aisles and talking to a few people until I came to the Ellis booth. And Leo wasn't behind the table, he was in the aisle. And you know, he kind of pulled me in with his enthusiasm and just blew me away with his spirit. And I ended up going through several interviews with both Ellis and another nonprofit that was doing some pretty special work in the community. And eventually I got to the point where I went on a tour. And Leo was showing me around, just like Lisa said. Everybody knew him, the kids running up to him. But what I remember vividly as he took me from room to room, my immediate memory was every time I went into a room, the children touched me. They either reached up and held my hand, or they walked up and wrapped their arms around my leg. And they would take me to something that they were proud of and they wanted to show me. And we went into one little toddler room, and I squatted down, you know, on those little plastic colorful chairs that we squish ourselves into as adults. And I sat down on one of those little chairs, and this little girl immediately, little pigtails, bright eyes, jumped up on my lap and wrapped one of her arms around my neck. And she said, "You're very pretty." And I said, well, thank you, so are you. And she said, your nails match your lipstick. And I said, well, it was very nice of you to notice. And then she looked me right in the eye and she said, do you have any money? And Leo's doing what he did then. He was cringing. And I told the little girl, I said, oh, I left my purse in Leo's office. And then this is the kicker. And then she said, that's all right, maybe next time. So I kind of imagine that she's off working in development in a nonprofit somewhere. So I've just completely lost my place. But what really struck me, especially with these children that would walk right up to you and start talking to you, was how trusting these children were. The trust that I saw in these children convinced me that they were getting the care and the attention and the love that they deserved. And I imagined, as Leo said, that their parents went to work every day with a peace of mind that comes from knowing that their children were being taken care of. So needless to say, my tour of Ellis convinced me that this is where I wanted to spend my time. So I decided that helping children and changing that trajectory of their lives, potentially, was really worth the effort and the lasting impact. To put it plainly, I really did fall in love with Ellis and everything that it stood for. And I learned a lot of my time on the board at Ellis, and I really appreciate it. It was the first nonprofit board that I was a part of, and I learned a lot. Over the past 2 weeks, my family and I have been reminded about the fragility of the most vulnerable people in our society, children and the elderly. Every parent or adult child deserves the peace of mind that their children or elderly parents or loved ones are cared for with love and dignity and respect. And Ellis will always hold a very special place in my heart. Despite being 130 years old, Ellis is like its students. It's bursting with pride and energy and optimism. You've heard from a number of speakers tonight about the impact that Ellis has had over the 130 years of its history, and about Leo and the board's plans. But let me tell you 3 reasons why I think Ellis is so special and why I think it's deserving of our support and hopefully our investment tonight. The first is the quality of care. The fact that the children enrolled in the Early Education Center are from families that are paying market rates. Half of the children's families are paying market rates, while the other half are being subsidized, says a lot about the success of Ellis, about the culture and economic diversity that's such a part of the fabric of Ellis. It's a great model, providing assistance that allows inner-city working families to have access to the same quality of early education that the wealthy families are willing to pay for. As we heard from Thomas, Ellis kids have access to a wider world, regardless of their economic background, and that's the way it should be. And the same goes for Adult Day programs, the vital role that they play helping elderly and disabled adults stay in their homes, yet be able to have the care that they need during the day, the respite for their families, and nutritious meals, and the company of one another. The second thing that I think is so special about Ellis is Leo. Anyone that spent more than a couple of minutes with Leo knows how much he cares about Ellis and everyone it serves. Leo and I share the same obsession with continuous improvement. When he took the helm over 30 years ago, Ellis, I would say, was in a heap of trouble, and it faced some really serious budget challenges, and Leo's mandate was either to fix it or close it down. He cut a lot of expenses his first year, but interestingly, he invested in the staff. He knew that if he took care of the staff, they would improve the quality and the place would survive. Now that might have seemed counterintuitive with an organization bleeding expenses the way that it was, but Leo knew that this was the key to making Ellis better. And he was right. Leo's motto is, never stand still, keep growing as long as you can afford to do it. And that, as Larry has shared earlier, that's exactly what Ellis is doing. The third thing that I think is special about Ellis is the impact that they have for their size. A lot of nonprofits in Boston have higher profiles, bigger budgets, bigger galas, but very few deliver as much bang for the buck as Ellis does. They punch way above their weight and deliver a tremendous return on investment, an investment that I really do hope that you will make tonight. So that's why I'm particularly proud to support this little engine that could. And I'm enthusiastic about the next chapter that Ellis is writing of this unbelievable and unfolding 130-year history. Thank you again for honoring me tonight to be the first Ida Eldridge Vision for Boston Award and letting me sing the praises of an organization that I do love.
Congratulations, Alison. And I want everybody to know, in the same way that Leo introduced you to Ellis, you introduced me. So thank you.
Thank you.
So now, as we celebrate this 130th birthday, what better way to do it than with a birthday card? And all of you are seeing on your tables there the cards with your table number. And this is our opportunity to help Ellis grow into the future. If you have misplaced your card or there is one that's missing, raise your hand and one of our lovely volunteers will come and get you a new one. And in the next few minutes, we want to make a big difference for Ellis.
So we've been hearing about what a wonderful organization this is and the amazing work that Ellis does. And none of this is easy. None of this gets paid for without a lot of hard work. So right now we're going to raise some money. And we're going to help Leo and his staff continue to do the terrific work that they do.
Okay, so how about we give Ellis a big hand and raise $100,000 right now. Sound good, Leo? On the back of your cards, you'll see some suggested levels for giving. They're just suggestions, of course. Whatever you can do. If there isn't a number big enough, feel free to fill that in. They'll be very happy. And the volunteers tonight from the Junior League will be picking up the cards. And we're going to have a running tally as we do this of just how close we're getting to that $100,000 goal. So once you've filled out your card, raise your hand, and one of our Junior League volunteers will pick it up.
And I know that a couple of people that weren't able to be here tonight got us started with $7,500 contributions, so we've got a little bit of a head start here. And just so that you know, a summer vacation being right around the corner, and a donation of $10,000 tonight will send 4 school-age kids for 8 weeks of full-day summer camp. So that includes that field trip every day, the trip to the beach every week. $10,000 will get 4 kids for the whole summer. As Leo mentioned, my son Brendan worked last year during the summer camp and did some of those field trips with the kids. And he told me he went to some places in Boston that he'd never been before. So even Brendan was learning some things last year. So your dollars are very well invested here in terms of kids getting an opportunity to spend their summer doing something different than they normally would be doing.
I think when you said Brendan's name, you were just terrified we were going to have you come up here and dance, weren't you? I saw the look on your face. I know I did. See a lot of people filling out cards, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to give us your email address or a cell phone number just so we can reach you if we have to. And over on this wall, you can see some of the evolution of Ellis, partly through the eyes of the kids and then also through the buildings. Children as young as 3 months old go to Ellis. And if you donate $5,000 this evening, you will be providing 2 children with a full year of transportation, the bus to and from Ellis.
And just remember to hold up your cards when you're ready, and someone will come by and grab them. A gift of $2,500 will provide a month of hot, nutritious meals for 35 elderly or disabled adults. I couldn't believe that one. A month of hot, nutritious meals for 35 people. That's pretty good. This is such an important part of Ellis's mission to make sure that these folks have a safe place to be every day, they're cared for, and their caregivers know that they don't have to worry while they're there every day.
Now, if you're wondering what a $1,000 donation will do, consider this. You can help fund 8 weeks of dance, movement, and yoga classes in the after-school program, the same program that trained those incredibly talented young people who were up on the stage earlier in the program. If you can give $500 or $250, you'll be helping Leo cover all of the extra costs and expenses that make Ellis such an incredible and memorable place. Things that fall into the category of what we would say is going the extra mile for working families. Backpacks filled with school supplies, for example, a warm winter coat, boots, goodness knows those got to work out this year, supplies for a teacher or for the arts and crafts room, and student showcases that bring families into Ellis.
So let's keep going. No gift is too small, so please remember to raise your cards and we'll get volunteers to pick them up. Thank you for doing whatever you can to help us reach that $100,000 goal tonight.
Now we hope to get one of our first totals in just a bit. We're tallying this up as we go. But when we talk about the next 100 years of Ellis, it's all about a continuation of the mission and an evolution. And Thomas said it so perfectly tonight. What changes for Ellis kids is the access. And tonight, that's what we're doing. Fill out your cards, raise your hands. We'll have the volunteers come through. You can raise them all for one table if you like at one time, if that's easier. And by the way, let's give a nice round of applause to the members of the Junior League who are with us tonight. Thank you very much for making this part of our night possible. Let's see if we can get a tally. And the sooner we get a tally, the sooner you get to dance. You too. Leo, I couldn't help thinking, too, that there are companies that would do anything for the kind of loyalty that Ellis has fostered. That also goes for television stations.
Do we have a tally?
Do we have a tally? All right. Oh, here we go. Running with a tally.
Running.
That's outstanding. That's like the best possible breaking news. We're at $65,000 right now. So we're closing in on that $100,000 mark. We'll spend just a couple of minutes. If you have to take your cards with you, do, but if you can fill them out tonight, we'll take them and celebrate that as we're dancing. And just hold your hands high for the volunteers.